So please take a breath with me. Breathing in and then letting go. What if everything you thought mattered didn't matter? What if everything you thought mattered didn't matter? Twice in my life, I saw money flying through the air like trash. The first time was in 1975, during the fall of Saigon, and when the last American troops fled from Vietnam. I saw our currency, our local currency, became worthless. The second time, I was on a boat in the middle of the ocean in 1982, and the pirates had boarded our ship, our boat. People tried to offer them money, but the pirates had no use for money. And I saw them throw the money in the air. I was born and raised in Vietnam during time of war. Americans call this war the Vietnam War. But to the Vietnamese, it is the American war in Vietnam. And when the communists took over the South in 1975, my father was put into re-education camp. After 3 years, when they released him, he escaped on a boat. The following year, my mother and her 6 children tried to escape, but we get caught and put in jail. And after the 3rd attempt, they kept my mother and they released the children home. That evening, my aunt came over and she said that she was going to escape with her family and that she has space for just one of us. My grandmother was there and she said to me, "Home, you must go. You are the eldest son of the family and you are one of the twins. In case you die at sea, your mother would still have the other twin. You must go and find your father and find freedom for your family." The next evening, I found myself squeezed into a small fishing boat, about half the size of the stage, heading out into the South China Sea. We were successful in our escape, but on the 3rd day, the engine died, could not be fixed, so we were just drifting. On the 5th day, we ran out of food and water. Hungry and starving, the people divided into 2 camps. They cursing and arguing and fist fighting with each other. On the 6th day, the pirates found us. And the pirates did what the pirates do. They take valuables, jewelry, wedding rings, gold teeth, and when there was nothing left to take, they beat the man and raped the woman. But they also did something unexpected. Each time before they leave, they would throw over to our boat a bucket of rice and water. And this is how we survived. This unexpected mercy saved us. I come to understand that kindness and cruelty exist in all of us. On the 13th day, I woke up and I looked around me and I saw all these bodies twisted, unconscious. I could not tell whether they were dead or alive. Needing fresh air, I crawled over their bodies and I climbed on top of the roof deck. If you have seen the movie Life of Pi, you've seen some of what I experienced. I saw the vast, turbulent sea with waves 20 feet high. And I realized how small I was. And I looked out in the horizon. I saw the biggest the waves. So frightened, I started to pray. I prayed to Jesus and Mary. And I prayed to the Buddha. And I prayed to my grandfather who had died a few months before. And I saw a bird, a seagull, fly by. And I prayed to the bird. And I looked out in the horizon. Again, this time, the biggest of the waves were hurling toward us. And I thought, this is the end. So I took one last deep breath. I closed my eyes, I opened my arms, and I let go. In that moment, I felt the ocean was within me. My beating heart and the pounding waves was heaving as one. And that separation between the ocean and me dissolved. I could feel my heart and the ocean beating together. And I don't know how long I sat there. After 20 days, our boat crashed onto the shore of Thailand. And there I stayed in the refugee camp. And I learned to speak English. Hello, my name is Hong. I come from Vietnam. How are you? Thank you very much. I want to come to America to see my father and have freedom. What I experienced on the boat was a spiritual awakening. What I thought had mattered didn't matter. For example, money. Money that people had saved and hoarded, one moment became worthless. Starvation didn't seem to matter if your loved ones are hurt or harmed. Violence didn't seem to matter if you have to fight to survive another day. And even survival didn't seem to matter. For me, it didn't matter because I realized I belong to nature. When I arrived in the United States, reconnected with my family, with my father. Growing up in America, I would repress and forget all of these experiences. Being a teenager in America, I learned to fit in and act cool and sounded cool, like, hey dude, what's up, man? Excellent. We were from San Fernando Valley in Southern California. whatever. And in my 20s, I pursued fame and success as a theater artist. Ambitions, driven, comes also with anxieties and fear. A friend of mine recommended that I do a 10-day long meditation course. And I didn't know anything about meditation, but it sounded like a vacation because I heard people could sit around. So I signed up for it. So the first 3 days, sitting on the cushion, in silence, and being told to observe my breath and observe my body, all I felt was exhaustion, and then boredom, and then fear, and then anger. My mind was just churning. I noticed, like, wow, all these judgments. Oh, I like him. I don't like her. And what previously was mattered to me no longer mattered. And all I was focusing on is how annoying this guy was sitting in front of me was. His burping and coughing. And the vegetarian food is like, where's the beef, man? And then worst of all, there's this like, this fly would not leave me alone. And I thought, why are they making it so difficult for me? And then I start so angry, I picked a fight with the teacher. And then in the middle of the night, I thought, okay, I have to devise a plan to escape from this meditation center. This is like worse than hell, and like worse than the experience I had on the boat. But somehow I managed, one breath at a time, breathing in and letting go, and breathing in and letting go, and then my mind would wander like, oh, I hate this, and then breathing in and letting go. And all of a sudden, I could feel the sensations of my body. Oh my God, I could feel my legs and my hands and tingling sensation on my skin, and the next thing I could feel my heart beating and my brain was like pulsing, and oh my God, like amazing. And of course, I would get back, like, oh, I hate this, get me out of here. Then on the 9th day, I experienced something very familiar. As I was sitting there breathing in and out, practicing letting go from moment to moment. Just as I was sitting on this cushion, the way I sat on top of that roof deck, I felt peaceful and alive. And I felt myself connected to all these people. I felt awake. I felt awakened. My experience, my story of being a survivor and a refugee of war is not unusual. I believe that all of us are survivors and refugees of war. The war that we see on the outside, the conflict that we see on the outside, simply the manifestation of what's going on inside. Please take a breath with me. These days, I just feel so grateful and delighted that, now there's research and neuroscience that prove the benefits of mindfulness and being mindful. Right? It's improved your immune system and better for your heart, and you sleep better, and even increase the size of your brain. And there's even an app for this. Really, there's an app for meditation. And now we have a whole conference, a TEDx conference on mindfulness and being mindful. So, but all the talks might be intellectually stimulating, but it would be little use to you. So, all the talks might be stimulating intellectually. It would be of little use unless we learn to practice. And by practice, I mean to pause, to breathe, to settle down, to observe what's going on inside out and outside in. So we practice so that we become awakened. And in this moment, what matters is our presence together, here and now. And by practicing being in the moment, one moment after another, we are guided into true freedom, unconditional love, and real happiness. So I wish all of you true freedom, unconditional love, and real happiness. I love you. Thank you.